Just checking on Pete. Is he on? Okay. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting for Shafter City Council Tuesday, July the 19th, 2022. Let the record show all members of the council are present and Councilmember Espinoza is on Zoom. On the Pledge of Allegiance, I'll lead you in that, and the invocation is Mayor Pro Tem Givens. Please stand. Salute, pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day you have given us. I thank you for allowing us to be in this place. I pray for wisdom and guidance in our conversations and the decisions that will be made. Father, let it edify you and the city around us. We just thank you for your love and peace that you're bringing. In your name, amen.
Amen.
And your first item is the approval of agenda. No, sir.
I will make a motion to approve as read.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Givens, seconded by Councilmember Lopez to approve the agenda as printed.
Councilmember Espinoza,
Yes. Yes.
Are you muted?
can you try that one more time?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
We see you.
I know he did put a thumbs up.
Right.
We'll
Okay.
take that as an aye. Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
and Prout.
Yes. Okay, the first item is a presentation. We have some introductions of city employees. David?
An honorable mayor, members of the Shafter City Council. It's a happy presentation I have to give. We'll be introducing 5 new employees and then 1 employee in a new position. This has happened over the last couple of months. So I've been saving them up for this. The first is Brenda Lopez. She's a tutor. She's a Shafter High graduate, just graduated from Cal State Bakersfield and is on her way to becoming a teacher. Fun fact about Brenda is that she's taught sewing at Richland, and she's already been working at the Learning Center, doing a great job, picking it up fast. Freya Ramirez is another Shafter High graduate. She's currently studying at Bakersfield College to be a Spanish teacher, and that will emerge here as soccer. So she likes to play soccer. She also has a sister that works at the Learning Center. Danya Rubio is a Wasco High grad, attended Bakersfield College, and has been homeschooling her children. She's also well known to a particular member of our IT department. She's Johnny Rubio's wife.
Wasco, that's okay. Now we like him.
We love taking the best from Wasco. And now teachers, Lizbeth Becerra is a teacher. She's been a preschool teacher in Shafter, and she's already started working with our little ones at the Learning Center. Studied at Cal State Bakersfield, also a soccer player. And her sister Nancy, which we didn't know when we were interviewing them that they were sisters, but Nancy Becerra is a Shafter High graduate, Cal State Bakersfield graduate, and she's been teaching art at the Bakersfield Museum of Art, and has a great background in education and experience in this. And she's a soccer coach. And then Elsa Solario, who is here in person, and Elsa has been with us as a teacher for about a year. Elsa comes from a small town on the coast, Guadalupe, is that right? Yeah. And has been living in Bakersfield. She actually connected with the Learning Center through her children who were at the Grow Academy. Great. And she's been on an interim basis taking on the program coordinator role at the Learning Center, has been doing a great job. And I'm really thrilled to have her stepping into this new role. So
Very nice. Very nice.
Hope you're having fun.
Yes, it's been, so thank you, Elsa. Nice to meet you all in person. I've been having a great time. So the experience I've had this summer so far, it's been a challenge and all, well welcome because all with very good purpose. Yeah,
Yeah, super.
Yeah.
Good. Welcome.
thank you.
You've got a little soccer team going on with the coach and everything. The competition's coming real quick.
Good. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we don't want to skip the next one, do we? No. We're gonna have a resolution of service for Captain Jeff Bell, who has retired recently, and I'll come down and you can join me down here.
73 years. I had to. Sorry. I had to.
I've been up here before,
Yeah.
23 years ago.
Oh, well, that's when you did this. huh?
Yeah, that's when
Yeah.
I did that. One.
It's really exciting to have you here, and it's really exciting for me to be able to do this for you. Because Jeff came after I was even already on, and so we've been pretty closely connected only because I love going in the PD, and I always enjoyed and shared with you often. So it's really exciting for me.
I'm gonna miss your Valentine cookies, just saying.
Well, we could have them there. You just have to come out and get them. Yeah, just come on out and get them. So anyway, we have for resolution of service recognition for Jeff Bell, who is our police captain, retired June the 28th, 1989 to June 29th, 2022. 23 years of service. That's just with Shafter. And whereas for the past 23 years, Captain Jeff Bell has diligently and faithfully served the city of Shafter in the Shafter Police Department. And whereas Captain Bell began his law enforcement career with the then existing Los Angeles County Park Police in the fall of 1984. He promoted to sergeant in 1993, and he worked significant events such as the Ruby Canyon Fire of 1987, the 1992 Rodney King riots, and the 1992 Gang Truce Rally, and the 1993 firestorms, and the 1994 Northridge earthquake. Yeah, lots of experience. Quickly, huh? Whereas Captain Bell was a post management level certificate and over 4,000 hours of recognized post training, in 2008, he was selected to be the first City of Shafter police officer to attend the FBI National Academy Class 235. He also received the first Kern County Law Enforcement Foundation Administrator of the Year award in 2006. And whereas Captain Bell is dedicated to helping the victims of domestic violence and bringing awareness to the issue of domestic violence, he has a court-certified expert witness, established the Shafter Police Department DART team, presented numerous domestic violence presentations to the public, and was a member of the Kern County Domestic Violence Advisory Committee. And whereas Captain Bell was instrumental in several projects at the Shafter Police Department, the model of the Shafter Police Department facility and the remodel of the Shafter Police Department facility and the construction of the new Shafter Animal Control Facility, he had the oversight at the RIMS computer-aided dispatch and data systems and Lexipol policy management system. And whereas Captain Bell is known for his mentoring and training of Shafter Police Department staff from all levels, he's provided guidance, encouragement, and always willing to share his years of experience to develop the future generation of the Shafter Police Department. And whereas the city's elected representatives now properly give well-deserved recognition and appreciation for Jeff's personal and professional involvement, resulting in the betterment for the community of Shafter. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the city of Shafter does hereby officially recognize and commend Captain Bell for his years of service with the Shafter Police Department and wish him much happiness as begins his exciting new chapter in his life. So congratulations to you, sir. I know you welcomed you 23 years ago, but you know what? Happy retirement.
Thank you.
Yeah, you earned it. And yeah, you're pretty special. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me.
Do you want the council down here with a picture?
I was hoping to say a couple of words.
You're a council member, you can say whatever you want to say.
No, we're going to come down for a picture with the president.
Oh, my gosh.
Did you?
All right, we're back up again. Oh, my God.
Gosh, Pete, I'm sorry, we're going to miss you down here.
I'd like to be there, but I'm not feeling too well. So congratulations, Officer Bell. Thank you very much. And I do have something I wanted to say about in my session where I get to talk to about my announcements. So thank you.
Well, we also have a key to the city. I don't know, did you ever have a key to the city?
I didn't, but I wouldn't mind a free speeding ticket. Just kidding, okay?
Anyway, it's presented to you. 23 years of dedicated service, so there you go. All right, where is she? There you are. All right, close in. Are you, do you want us with the officers or not? All right, come on up. Oh, yeah. Well, they'll get up here.
Okay. You were part of it.
Once in a lifetime photo. And the top, oh, the, yeah. I'm gonna say the new officer. Mallory? 1, 2, 3.
Want to see?
I'm sure I'll have a lot later on. I do thank you guys for just acknowledging that, the years of service. It's been, there's a lot of memories, way too much to recount here, for sure. And it has been a privilege. I can say this, you have a great team that's left. I feel happy about that because I think I've been part of that to help the next team be able to just pick up where I left. So I think that's hopefully a good manager when you can leave and you know everything's going to run pretty smoothly after you go instead of going, what do we do now? So I'm really excited for the future for this department because you've got a good solid foundation of leaders. So thank you, Mr. Gonzalez too. And like I said, a lot of memories here. Everybody here I've had history with, even our city attorney, you know, a lot of business there. So yeah. Well, I miss her too. So I do thank you. I mean, everybody here's got a face that has a memory for me. So, and it's been enjoyable and I'm very appreciative. So thank you. Mostly my wife's had to deal with 23 years plus as well. So we're enjoying the time with grandkids and really being able to just kind of relax a little bit. So thanks. Okay.
Well, Captain Bell, just before you go, I just want to share a little bit about, my experience with you. And I just want to say thank you very much for your service in the community. And I'm going to miss you being in a part of the single mile and also part of the Christmas parade, you on your bike. I'm going to miss running into you at the banks or, or Michoacano, so, but I do want to say thank you very much for your service. And I remember just clearly, just seems like a couple of days ago, I got this call. Somebody was, actually, it was a picture somebody sent me, some homeless guy standing in the corner. Who is this?
I didn't recognize
I
you.
know times are getting tough, but man, this is really getting bad.
Yeah.
I know the laws have changed, but but we're gonna miss you.
Well, if it's
So-
any consolation, that Thursday was in Shafter, Friday was in Bakersfield. I went down to Rosedale and coffee. I actually had people offering me money. So I am thinking about maybe there's a for me yet.
There's a great career in that stuff, you know,
Yeah.
man.
I'll share that later.
So
Trying
who,
to offer encouragement, right? to
So-
the city.
so who have you done the bike to?
Well, actually, I'll give the chief credit. He's tried to get me to come back to ride the bike.
So no one wants to take that mantle, huh?
I'm out of that loop.
It's an honor to have known you and continue to know you. You may have been the first person to give me my ticket when I was a child, to say the least. We're years ago. We won't go there. May or may not have. I'm not quite sure. We don't have to look at the records for that. But it's been an honor to know you. Your smiling face, riding the bike around, or the horse, depending on what era you were in. And I had to get one in there, Chief. He's looking at me crazy. You're such a pleasure to be around, and I think you and each and every officer that we have here, and Shafter is so unique.
Mhm.
We're not these other cities who we have people that fear officers, and it's because of people just like you who are willing to go out of your way just to ride a bike and stop and talk to somebody, talk to that little kid or that family, and you're not there to you're there to be an officer. I get it. You got the uniform thing going on, but you're there to be more of a servant. And I read your sign too, and I thought, man, how awesome is that? Because that is the lifestyle that you and your family have chosen, and for that I am grateful to know that you left that imprint here in this city, and I hope that others follow that same imprint. I really, really do, and I'm thankful for that. Thankful for your heart and what you've provided to us.
Campbell, 23 years of service in law enforcement. It's nothing small. I mean, this community is better because of you. It's better because of this whole entire police department right here and its leadership. And you said it correctly. This department is left with some great leadership, and everybody loves Shafter PD for the most part. There's nothing really negative to say about Shafter PD. Great officers, great leadership, and this community is way better because of your service. And I want to thank you and enjoy your retirement. Thank you to your wife. I know my wife, what she goes through because of where I'm at. So I know what she goes through as well, but she's to be applauded as well, and I applaud you, man, for standing by those 23 years. And now it's time for you to enjoy yourself. Thank you, sir.
Pete wanted to say something. I don't want to-
All right, Pete, let's have Pete.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Officer Bell, I just want to say thank you. And once again, I have another little piece that I wrote in my announcement, but I just want to thank you for your service and thank you for your commitment. And I'm sorry that we didn't get enough time to get to meet each other and know each other a little bit better, but I'd like to say congratulations on your retirement, and I hope it's everything that you hope for.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Councilman. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, all the officers that are here too. Yeah. Yeah, we cleared the room, huh? Welcome, Phil.
He's like, don't point me out.
Okay, we're going to proceed with the rest of the meeting, and the next item is public comment time. Anyone in the audience cares to address council anything that is not on the agenda may come forward at this time. Any comments from the public? Anything online? Nothing? Okay, we'll move on then to council announcements and reports.
Somebody decided to come late.
Oh, okay.
Lights again.
Linda?
Linda Martin, American Refuse. Mayor and council, I just wanted to give you an update on the workshops that we had. We had one Thursday evening and we had one Saturday. We had probably roughly between 45, 50 at each one. We went over some of the state laws. We had 3 different areas set up with all 3 carts and all the information that each resident's going to get during rollout, including the bag, how to download the app, the trifold, and their service map for all the July customers. So I felt like it was a positive experience. We had lots of Q&A, which was great. And then I also wanted to just reiterate that a lot of the things that were brought up, we have added to the FAQ page that we have on our website, americanrefuse.co. And there's a Shafter tab. It has the rollout map and a lot of the frequently asked questions. So we just wanted to give you a little update.
Appreciate it. Any questions of Linda?
Thank you. By the way, I've got a lot of feedback from folks and they have been really thankful for the map. So for all of you guys, Mike and everyone who decided to get that map out there, thank you for getting on the site. Thank you for putting it out on yours. I heard it was, there was a lot of questions asked, but it was informative. So thank you. That's really one thing I asked for because this is such a unique rollout and just trying to help as much as we can. Thank you guys for doing that.
We're here to help. We understand that we're taking a city from basically 0 recycling right now on the residential side, and we are full-blown 1383. So
Yeah.
I just want to encourage residents to reach out to us, use the app, call us, use this as a resource. We're here to help.
Thank you.
Okay,
Super.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, council announcements. Gilbert?
I just have like four of them real quick. One of them is that just pretty much save the date, August. It's going to be Saturday, August 6th at Dollar General. It's going to be Stuff the Bus with the Richmond School District and partly with the community. Everybody's welcome to come, and pretty much everything that we collect stays in Shafter. It's going to be given to Richmond School to Healthy Start. So that's on August 6th. And then we have in the future, we're working on a boxing show, which is going to be on September 3rd on a Saturday at the Veterans Hall. And that's also going to be through the Lions Club as well. And then we do have the Christmas parade. We're working on a Christmas parade already on December 2nd, which is a Friday. And this one's going to be at Mantle Park. And then I just want to, because we missed, we canceled a council meeting. So I just want to say to everyone and to the chief and the city staff, thank you for all your hard work and doing your best and controlling the fireworks show and the fireworks, the legal fireworks. And I know it's hard, and but I know you guys were doing your best. And I just want to say thank you for everything you did. And talking about police, you know, I had a couple people share with me, you know, there's a nearby city that doesn't quite have a police department, and they were just sharing with me a lot of their concerns and their worries that they have. And I look back at Shafter that we have a police department, and I just want to say, you know, thank you to the city, and thank you to the community, and thank you for everybody who took part in making this happen, where that we were able to have a good, solid police department and good staffing, and also had the opportunity to be with the Shafter PD on Saturday. And, you know, just looking at them, and they're human people just like us, you know, and sometimes we think that they're not, but they are. And I think we just need to appreciate that all their hard work, even though we don't see everything that they do, but we need to just recognize them and just, you know, when we see them, tell them thank you for their service. And I just happy that we do have a police department. So that's all I have to share.
Chad?
Rachel, do you know what the turnout was for the fireworks show? Okay, just curious. That was, it felt like it was back to old times. It actually felt like it was a little bit more than old times. I live on Beach, and Beach was full of traffic for about an hour after the show had ended. And that's because that wasn't the only outlet out of town. So I'm really curious what the numbers were. But yeah, if you can find out, a big thank you, obviously, to the chamber for putting it on, and Chief and your team for everything you guys did that night. Mike, I know you guys had a lot of work going on getting the roads opened and or closed, and probably a lot of trash to pick up afterwards. So I know it was a mess, but seemed like we had a really, really, really large turnout. So way to go on putting that on. Nothing really other to announce except the Children's Theater is putting on a show next weekend. It is the, I made my dates wrong, 30th, 31st, and August 1st, if I have my dates right. It should be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can get on Chapter 4 Theater website and buy tickets. It is all volunteer-based. It is a nonprofit organization who works with, this year will be K through going into 8th grade. There are 2 different programs that are being out there. So if you haven't bought tickets, or you want to go buy tickets, or you want to see a show, that will be happening not this weekend, but the coming weekend. Again, chapter4theater.com to buy tickets. That's all I have.
The end of the month.
Caesar?
You know, I have nothing to report. It's just, I missed the 4th of July festivities, unfortunately. Even July 3rd, July 4th, had to be at work, unfortunately. I'm blessed to have a job, a very good job, but it takes me away from my family. I don't have a 9-to-5 job. Working 80 hours of overtime in the last 3 weeks. Been physically assaulted twice in the last month at my job. So it's been a pretty stressful time for me. Hopefully we see the light at the end of the tunnel here pretty soon and start getting our staffing levels up so I can be attending more things out here. But at this time, that's all I have.
Okay. Peter? Pete?
On June 23rd, I attended the ribbon cutting ceremony at Starbucks. That was exciting. I'm always happy for new business in the city of Shafter. On the 3rd of July, I celebrated the fireworks here at my house with family and friends. We barbecued hamburgers and hot dogs and watched the fireworks show. I'd like to say thanks to the Chamber of Commerce for all the work they did in putting that on, and everyone else from the police department down to Public Works for the work that they did. On the 4th, we did it all over again and went to my brother's house and watched the fireworks from his house. And then on the 11th, I was at City Hall for the oath of office ceremony for Officer Mallory Sargent. I understand she has 15 years of experience. I'd like to welcome her aboard and welcome her to Shafter. On the 14th, I attended the Join Us 3-Cart Refuse Service information meeting at Mantle Park. And I thought it was a good turnout. I thought the questions and everything seemed to not be, anything of major seriousness. And it seems like everything's going to be able to work out all right for that. So I'm happy for that to get started. And then on the 18th, I missed the oath of office for the finance clerk intern. I was at the doctor. Just a little heads up on that. My wife does have COVID. My son and my daughter are fine. I have bronchitis. So it's just kind of like the severe allergies is what I would kind of try to explain it as. But that's why I'm not present. I'm sorry I missed Officer's Bell retirement pictures and everything. But I also wanted to thank the Charter Advisory Committee for their time and commitment. I also wanted to thank the city manager, the city attorney, the city clerk, and the rest of the staff for all their hard work and prepping all the information for the committee to review. I found those information, meetings to be very informative, and I thought it was put together well and everything went smoothly. So thank you to all who made that happen. And then once again for Captain Jeff Bell for his long and dedicated service to law enforcement and his service of 23 years to the city of Shafter. I'm hoping that retirement is everything you've been looking for. And just remember to share a couple of the good fishing spots and what you use for bait. Thank you for your service. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Pete. Okay, I have a few things too. We did have the ribbon cutting for the Paramarota therapy unit over here on Laredo Highway. That was really very well attended. And let me tell you, they're exceeding business in their place because I started with them already too. And I've seen every time I've gone how it's increased, and even the therapist that's there has mentioned the fact that he needed help. And yesterday I noticed that they brought in extra help. They have extra help for a therapist as well as the assistants. So yeah, they're busy and the people are doing what they need to do for their therapy sessions. Also at Starbucks, the soft opening that we had turned into a very fast, quick movement of people that heard about it at the last minute and they just flooded the place. They're pretty excited. I haven't been back inside, but when you go by, you always see cars lined up and they were very excited to be here in Shafter. Also, we had a chance on June the 24th to tour Walmart, and it was something that was brought up at the very last. And so 3 of us went. Gilbert, you were there. No, you weren't there. No, it was just you and I then. And Pete? Yeah, that's right, Pete. We did get to see it in operation because the last time I was there, they were still setting up and they weren't even practicing. They were still just building and putting all the supports and everything together. It's absolutely amazing. It is absolutely amazing as to how they don't even have robots. They have machinery that just brings everything forward. The way they pack the pallets and when it doesn't go well on the pallet, what the machine responds to it, it's just amazing. Chad here even got to go another level up and he got to see even more up above. And I'll tell you what, it's pretty darn exciting. If you ever get a chance to go in there, you really ought to go. Most of it is very cold. You're in a refrigerated freezer section. The fresh produce is curtained off, so you can't really get in there, but it's cool. It has to keep that stuff cool until they send it out. But I'll tell you what, it's a good model because they're already building others. This is the first one that's so high tech. And the others will be even bigger because of what they've learned already from this one. It's something to see. Also, we haven't gotten an official agreement for this education grant application that's going in called SURF. There's another meeting scheduled tomorrow night at 5 o'clock on Zoom. So I may be listening in on it to see. It's a collaboration with an awful lot of people in the county to get some additional money from the state. And so they're hoping that all the cities are a partner, and we just have a lot of unknowns yet to come forward to see how cities will participate in this program. Also, the fireworks show, I think all of you heard enough about it. It was an excellent display. It's not as long, it's not drawn out, but it's just a really nice display. It gives you a good feeling. Perfect evening that we had. Sponsors responded. It just, to collect $25,000 is no easy feat. Debbie, you can remember even way back when we got involved in this, it certainly didn't cost $25,000, but it almost doubled from the previous time because of everything else that the costs have gone up. But I think of the people and the activities that happened that night, it was very successful. I still hear some loud noises at night, but really not too bad for the city of Shafter. So I thank the Public Works, the Shafter Police Department, Chamber of Commerce, and all of the citizens that came, but especially the sponsors who were willing to put some money for putting on a good show. And then the people from out of the area that came in. Very positive for Shafter. Also, there was that flag display along Lerdo Highway that the Rotary has put up now for the 3rd year. Interesting project because some people really, really enjoy taking a flag to display themselves. So we lost some again this year, but the group says they'll come back and do it again. Then we had the oath of office for our new officer, and she was in the picture tonight. Her name is Mallory, and I'm not sure if it's sergeant, whatever. She came from the Sheriff Department, 15 years of experience, and she's really, really excited about being in Shafter. So we welcome her. AB 617 happened again on July the 11th. It's a steering committee. And what's exciting about the committee is that many of the people have always had a hard time believing or trusting in how to allocate funds that come in through this grant. Fortunately, there will finally be some money that's going to be coming towards the city, and we're going to have a meeting even this Friday, hoping that they will accept, because with the push of the committee, they did move some monies from the locomotive switches or switchers. So 3 projects that will get some funny. The switcher program had 4.1 million. And if you look at it, those are big equipments that reduce the emission of airs in a higher degree. But these people that serve on this committee, local committee, really believe that they wanted to see more spent in the residential area. So they're giving 200,000 of that money will come in for wood burning. That if you put in your insert, it'll go from 3,000 returned as up to 4,000. So you can get your new equipment and it'll get paid for. The other item was vegetation barriers. And really, if you live out in the rural area where there's more dust, it is more important for them to reduce that and block that pollution that comes from the fields and the roads and Shafter. So they're putting in $1 million in there for vegetation barrier, which has to be worked out with the farmers and others that are going to be impacted by that. And then the third move was $250,000 for air filtration. And most of that's going to be geared for childcare or daycare center or preschool. Now that one will be monitored because the thought was that they wanted filtration in the schools, but they were already dealing with it. So they weren't using any funds. Now they're just changing it over to bring in some money for daycare and preschool kids. So I think it's sort of settled down some of the group, I would hope, as we continue to spend more money. And some of the projects that the cities suggested was even 6 months ago or so, or maybe even up a year. Yeah, it's been a while. And I guess now they're going to be ready to see what we might do with some of the funds that will come directly to the city. Also, the workshop with the 3-cart service, you've already heard about those. I did attend the one on Saturday. And the wrap up that Linda gave us was right on, and the people responded well, had good questions, good feedback, and they're ready. I mean, let's just do the project and let's move forward. And that's all I have on my project. Yeah, that's all I have for now. So it's been a busy time, even though we didn't have a council meeting the second part of June. So that concludes the council member reports. We'll go on to consent calendar. On the consent calendar, we have 13 items, and I'll highlight those briefly. We have approved general checks for June up through July the 14th. Approve the payroll from June to July. Approve overtime reports for June. Approve the minutes of June. Approve a special event permit for St. Teresa's Patrons Day on October the 2nd. Declare the listed vehicles as surplus property to American Refuse for prices listed for purchase price of $200,000. Number 7 item is to accept the public street improvements constructed on and along the north side of 7th Standard Road between Gossamer Grove Boulevard and the Frank Kern Canal. Number 8 is to approve a cost proposal submitted by Arsco. I knew I was going to have a tough time. How do we say that? Arsco? No, ASCO. ASCO, there we go. Supply for the purchase of 15 replacement streetlight poles in the amount of $27,268. And this goes mostly in the Freedom Homes because of deteriorating poles that were put in there. Number 9 is to ratify the execution of the 3rd amendment of lease agreement with Amazon.com Services LLC for the use of 4.02 acres container yard owned by the city of Shafter located on the South Driver Road, and it's a month-to-month situation. Adopt resolution number 2879, which is the teleconferencing option for the city council, commission, and committee meetings pursuant to Assembly Bill 361. Number 11 is to introduce for a second reading by title only and waive reading for adopt ordinance number 737, approving amendments to the city's exclusive solid waste franchise agreements with American Refuse Inc. and Varner Brothers Inc. Number 12, adopt resolution number 2883, which is approving and directing destruction of certain city records. And number 13 is to accept the cancellation of requests for proposals for the use of the city-owned fiber network assets and the citywide expansion of broadband services. Any questions or comments on any of consent?
No, ma'am.
Pete, you have anything?
Make a motion to approve as read.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Gibbons, seconded by Councilmember Lopez to approve the consent calendar.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Prout.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to public hearings. The first order is ordering the annual levy of assessments within the existing landscaping and lighting districts for fiscal year 2022, 2023.
Sorry, Mayor and Council, items 1 and 2 are routine and ministerial, and our Public Works Director will make the staff report for both items. And then also in the interest of time, our Public Works Director will make the presentation on item 3, which is related to the reallocation of Cdbg appropriation from Veterans Park to Rodriguez Park to continue to make certain improvements at our parks. And so with that, Mike.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council, in order to fund existing landscape and lighting districts for the upcoming fiscal year, the city needs to perform an annual levy of assessments. Prior to tonight's meeting, the council approved an engineer's report that was prepared for each of the 13 districts. The report typically contains the details of a cost for a district and the recommendations on assessments to cover those costs for the upcoming fiscal year. This year's reports propose assessment increases of up to 3.8%, which we're allowed to do based on consumer price index data for the previous calendar year. But our increases are capped at 4% every year. The expected assessment revenues and costs should be reflected in the fiscal year budget for 22-23 that was adopted by the council. But in order to move forward with the annual levy, the council is required to conduct a public hearing on the matter, and at the close of the hearing, adopt a resolution ordering the annual levy. So for your consideration tonight is resolution 2880 that we request adoption for subsequent to the public hearing. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to open the public hearing. If anyone cares to address council, may come forward at this time. For or against? Hearing none. We'll close the public hearing. Any comments of staff or questions?
No, I make a motion to approve as read.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Gibbons, seconded by Councilmember Lopez to approve and adopt resolution number 2880.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Prout.
Yes. Second item is the sewer and refuse service charges for Gossamer Grove Development fiscal year 2022, 2023.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council, in addition to the landscape and lighting districts, there's an annual levy process for sewer and solid waste charges for the residents living in Gossamer Grove. They do not receive a monthly utility bill. They pay for their services through annual assessments. An engineer's report has been prepared for this annual levying process. It includes an updated inventory of all the serviceable and accessible lots. The rates for sewer and solid waste have already been adopted by the council. We're just here to ensure that the most current rates are reflected in the annual assessment. So resolution 2881, which would authorize the assessments. And prior to that adoption of that resolution, we were required to conduct a public hearing on that matter. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I'd like to open the public hearing for anyone who cares to address the council on sewer and refuse service charges. Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Any questions? No?
Make a motion to approve as read.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Gibbons, seconded by Councilmember Lopez to adopt resolution number 2881.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Prout.
Yes. Third item is the Community Development Block Grant Project Funding Consolidation Hearing and Resolution.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council, the city has accumulated several years of annual community development block grant funding that have yet to be put to use. As you may recall, we've attempted to use some of the funding for the Aquatic Center and Veterans Park, but ultimately found alternative funding sources that could be utilized much quicker. Our annual Cdbg funding is administered by the county through a master agreement. The main challenge with our Cdbg program, particularly over the last few years, is that while it's a reliable source of funding, it has taken a very long time for the county to produce a project funding agreement for a particular project. And quite frankly, for some projects, the city desires faster results. So to ensure that we have available funding through Cdbg that could be put to use, Public Works evaluated potential projects that could benefit the community, but that could still wait a couple of years as we wait out the typical process we've been seeing. Ultimately concluded that Rodriguez Park is the best candidate for a Cdbg investment. Potential improvements at the park include lighting for a multi-purpose field, as well as drainage improvements at the intersection of Rodriguez and Wall to reduce flooding at the park entrance. The county is supportive of this selection, but still requires that the council conduct a public hearing on the potential use of Cdbg funding, and at the close of the hearing, adopt a resolution supporting that initiative. So the hearing was noticed in English and Spanish by the city clerk, and as drafted, resolution 2882 identifies Rodriguez Park as the project to pursue, with 4 years of annual Cdbg allocations totaling approximately $400,000. So at this time, staff requests that the council conduct the hearing, and at the close of the hearing, adopt resolution 2882 to support the funding initiative for Rodriguez Park or another project of the council's choosing. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I'd like to open the public hearing for anyone who cares to address this topic on CBDG grant funding. Yes, sir. Come forward. Yes, sir. Yeah, come on up. Yeah.
All right, so Philip Jimenez, 741 Central Avenue. So multi-sports field, right? So soccer, baseball, softball, or a collaborative effort of all that put in one field to help with Rodriguez Park.
Yeah, that's the idea, is to make it flexible for multiple uses.
So basically you guys would turn the light opposite to where it would face the homes.
Correct.
To where, okay,
It would resemble what you're seeing at the Veterans Park football fields.
cool. That would actually look really good. And the reason why I say that is because that's where I grew up. I grew up right next to Rodriguez Park. And I remember it being a valuable park. And then obviously there's been homes and stuff that were added around the surrounding area. So you guys needed to open up the sewer a little bit more, which took into some of the park to where, you know, for us now it's being on a resident over there. It is basically half city yard and half park. So that's good that you guys are doing something like that. So just want to give you guys kudos on getting something done like that. So good job.
Let me tell you, I coached girls over there.
Right. Did you
really? Yeah.
Yeah.
coached
Back in the
girls.
day, it used to be a baseball.
That's right.
Legit baseball.
Long time ago.
So cool. Thank you guys.
Yeah, it works. Thank you, Phil. Anyone else care to address the group? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Any other comments from this
Make a
council?
motion to approve. Second.
Caesar, you're good. Okay, there we have a motion by Council Member Lopez, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Givens to adopt resolution number 2882.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Given,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Prout.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Manager reports. First item or one item is the 2022 City Charter Decennial Review.
Sorry, Mayor and Council, as you know, the city's charter requires that a Citizens Charter Advisory Committee be formed to review the city charter every 10 years based on the decennial results of the U.S. Census Bureau, and then make any recommendations to the city council if there are any revisions they feel are beneficial to the city. On April 19th, the City Council adopted resolution number 2860, which created Citizens Charter Advisory Committee. The committee and staff met on 4 different occasions, May 5th, 29th, 23rd, and June 6th, to review the city charter. Some of you have already commented, it was a very methodical process in walking the charter committee through the document itself, getting their input. There was some discussions on 3 different topics, one related to under the city manager clause of when they could be terminated. The current language says 90 days. The committee discussed maybe extending that to 180 days. After legal advice and I was having a discussion with the council, the committee elected to leave it alone at the existing 90 days. The second item was related to a question of the city attorney and the way the language reads in the city charter right now. It says one sentence, but it means 2 different things. It talks about if the city attorney is a full-time employee, it's considered a department head. But in the same sentences, or the city has the option of contracting out for its legal services. Under that conversation, the committee wanted to know, make a clarification, is it a department head or is it not? I think the key word in that sentence is or. And the fact that the city has historically contracted out its legal services, they are not a department head of the city. And in which they're independent contractor for Fair Labor Standards Act, they can't be considered a city employee. So therefore, there's no issue of them being a department head to the city manager. Now, in the event the city council in the future decided to bring in its legal services in-house, right? Under that scenario, then if that city hired a full-time city attorney in-house, they would be considered an employee, and at which time they would be a department head like the rest of the department heads to the city manager. But that's not the case that of which we operate today. So the committee elected to just leave the language as is for the time being. So the third item was simplifying the verbiage related to the financial clauses. A couple of the committee members felt that it was too detailed in terms of financial terms, and they wanted to streamline it, just basically more simple. After further discussion, they elected to just leave it alone. We did some research. Some of the other sample charters we looked at, their language is just as detailed in terms of financial terms. There's not too many options in which you can simplify financial terms when you're talking about debt service, debt obligations, and things like that. And so again, the committee elected to just leave the language as is. After discussion of those 3 items, the committee reached consensus to recommend to you as part of their role to not make any changes to the city charter at this time. So included with the staff report is their report signed by all 5, at which time they're recommending, as I said, through their consensus as a committee, to not make any changes to the city charter and to leave it alone for now, until the next time it's up. That concludes my staff report. I do want to acknowledge, if I may, really quick, Mayor and Council, Yasmina's work. She was very instrumental, our city clerk, in compiling all the comparison of the different city charters from other cities that we did. And then, of course, the Associate City Attorney, Henry Castillo, who also is very instrumental on the legal side of things in helping the committee understand a lot of the charter language that is legal in terms. So with that concludes the report. The action item tonight is for you to accept the committee decennial report with no recommendations to make any changes to the city charter at this time.
Any questions, comments of staff?
No, ma'am.
I just have a comment. I know at maybe like 4 years ago or so, maybe I had some challenges with the charter because mainly there was not so much good explanation. But now that this time has come and there was a committee put together, and then it went through the process, and I feel really comfortable on the recommendation of the committee and also the recommendation of the city staff. So just for the record, I think this is a good deal. So thank you for everybody's hard work.
Anybody else?
Is this just report or do we need a motion?
To
Make a
accept.
motion to accept the report as recommended. Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to receive the file as read.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Givens, seconded by Councilmember Lopez to accept the decennial review.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Proud.
Yes. Okay, we have city manager comments and reports.
Just really quick, Mayor, we are very busy this summer season. We do have some of our staff that's trying to enjoy the summer time off with their families and whatnot, but we do continue to be very busy. Even though we finished the budget process, we're picking up our workload that we had to push back a little bit. And then moving forward to implementation. So nothing major to report. We do have a couple of directors that will make a brief presentation. One is our police chief to give you an update from the 4th of July activities. And then there's 2 items for our public works director. As you know, we have a lot of capital improvement projects planned for our parks and recreational amenities. And so we felt we wanted to give you an update and timeline of where those projects are going. And then the other is there's always been a question about North Shafter and some of the streets and whatnot, and when the city's going to construct curbs, gutters, and sidewalk. So we went through an exercise of superimposing street dimensions in that area so that we can explain to you some of the challenges of building out the streets up in that area. That's an area that we inherited from the county, and those streets were not built to city standard. And I think what you're going to learn in here is that by constructing streets with curbs, gutters, and sidewalks, we're actually going to make a bigger problem out there simply because of the size of those lots and whatnot. But you'll hear more from Public Works Director. So with that, Chief.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, I just wanted to give you an update on the 4th of July weekend. That weekend, we had directed patrols out and we caught 4 and cited 4 people for illegal fireworks. We had cited one about a week and a half before that. So in the season, there were a total of 5. I can tell you from having walked around the event, we were very grateful that it was only 85 degrees rather than 105. We feel fortunate that way. We received about 97 calls in the entirety of what I'm calling the season for illegal fireworks. So that's where we were at this year. So it was there was plenty of illegal fireworks, but there weren't as many as we saw in 2020 when it seemed that everybody except me had them. So that's all I have to say. My guys, my folks worked really hard, and the people that are willing to use these illegal fireworks, especially because was it 2 years ago we cited 21 of them. They're becoming a little more cautious in where they light them off. So I found myself in an alleyway or 2 on the 3rd. But anyway, that's what we've got.
Chief, do you have any idea on the attendance that's in the recreation area as well as comes into town?
Well, it was full. For
Yeah.
those of us that saw it, it was just chock full.
Mhm.
But there weren't people in the stadium
No.
proper, right? So it was hard for me to make a judgment. I can tell you this, there was very little room to move around. Last year I had a golf cart. This year, no way. So there was a bunch of people there. And very few issues afterwards, one traffic accident, but that was exchange and off you go. That was about it.
Yeah, I heard positive things too. I mean, it was a perfect day, perfect night. Yeah, it just went off. So
Thank you.
thank you, Chief.
Okay.
I know.
I may have the city clerk pull up a PowerPoint here. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council, Public Works has prepared a brief presentation to highlight the park projects that are in the works and basically when we could expect to see some progress. Starting with the funding sources, there's over $10 million in play for park projects. Approximately 90% is grant funded. And we have two funding sources, or actually we have multiple funding sources, two being state grants, one through the Prop 68 program and the other through Clean California. And then we also have a federal ARPA allocation. You know, it's important to point out that a condition of receiving a grant is that generally you have a certain amount of time to complete a project. And in the case of the state grants, we're expected to be done 2 years from now, basically June of 2024. And the ARPA money requires that we were completed by the end of 2024. The first project site is the Aquatic Center. I'm sure at this point we've all are aware that the state secured Clean California grant totaling about $5 million. $2 million of that approximately is committed for the Aquatic Center. And it's important to point out that this particular scope of work is for the exterior to make the pool functional, to have the deck compliant with applicable standards, and to upgrade it for to address most of the issues that were identified in an assessment that was conducted for the pool site. What we learned a few years back when a consultant evaluated the building itself is that we were looking at an additional $4 million to bring that building up to standard. So the precise scope of work will include resurfacing the deck and pools, replacing the pump motor heating system. I mentioned ADA accessibility, and there's going to be a new shade structure where the grass area is at. For Veterans Park, we have a combination of federal funds and state funds. The federal funds are going to build a basketball court with lighting, as well as add lighting to the soccer fields. And the state Clean California funds are going to be used to add lighting to the walkway around the perimeter of the Veterans Park. I believe along the west side.
Are we pouring concrete on those walkways, or is it still going to be dirt?
We'll have to look at the budget for that. I don't know if we have the budget for concrete, but we'll try to.
That causes a lot of people use it a lot, and there's still a lot of potholes and what have you, unlevelness.
Understood.
Thank you.
Makes sense. For Cushman Park, federal funds have been committed to add a second field directly opposite the existing field. And in addition, we plan to replace and modernize the irrigation system at the park, which the slide you're looking at is actually the layout of the second field and the irrigation pipelines that have been designed. For Mantle Park, we have state funds committed to this park that will add a new shade structure, replace the irrigation system, and add interior lighting. Well, basically replacing the interior lighting that's starting to fail at the park right now. We also plan to build a new park. I'm sure most of us have heard that the state also secured a Prop 68 grant to build a 5-acre community park in North Shafter, specifically south of Fresno Avenue and west of Highway 43. Highlights of the new park include a playground, splash pad, multiple shade structures, a multi-purpose field, a multi-purpose court, probably with an emphasis on basketball, and exercise stations. And then based on the feedback we received from the residents nearby, we're going to put an emphasis on security cameras and lighting as well. Stringham Park also has the Clean California funding. You might have seen the bus turnout that's being built right now. That's not the Clean California project. The Clean California project is going to consist of adding a parking lot for transit and recreational use, a new shade structure, playground, irrigation system as well. Finally, for the skate park, what we plan to do is replace the what was billed as the temporary skate park equipment 15 years ago or so with a more sustainable skate park equipment, as well as shade structure and park lighting for better spectating and nighttime use.
And this is next to the youth center.
Correct. So finally, this is how the project schedule is shaping up. We've laid out, we've laid out projections here on when we expect to be completed with these projects. A year from now, we hope to be completed at Kirschman Park with the irrigation and field improvements. We want to be done with the interior lighting at Veterans and Mantle Park, and also finish the basketball court at Veterans Park and the shade structure at Mantle Park. In January 2024, we hope to have the pool restored, the amenities completed at Stringham Park, soccer field lighting added at Veterans Park. We hope to be completed with the new community park in North Shafter, and finally, we hope to be completed. We hope to be done with the skate park improvements as well as the irrigation system at Mantle Park. And for your benefit, we've printed copies of the precise project schedules and how we get from where we're at to these completion timelines. So feel free to look through that and contact either the city manager or myself with any questions or thoughts. But that's currently where we're at with park projects looking ahead. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions of staff?
I just have one, just was brought to my attention about the pool. So is it from now to next year, 2023, the pool's gonna be down?
We don't expect to have the pool operated in operation, because what we're doing right now is we're getting ready to procure an engineer to help design the improvements. You know, we've had an assessment done, but you can't exactly go out to bid with an assessment. You have to prepare project plans and bid documents, and that'll take a good 6 to 9 months. And then we're planning on 6 months of construction minimum. So that kind of pushes us off to January. We're really focusing hard on being done by January 2024, so in time for the high school swim season.
Thank you.
Have we even contacted the high school? Because they're really wanting it by this January, so it'd be nice to inform them. And I know you meet with them often. Yeah. And the swim teams, of course, they already know they're losing out all of this summer, so, yeah.
Yeah, certainly, Mayor and Council, to your question about keeping the high school informed, we have. I'm in communication with them, as you said, regularly. And I have kept them abreast that, the challenges we have in terms of the state we have to follow procurement rules and regulations, and we have to go out to do bid and all that. And so they're aware of that. I also sent them an email inviting them to watch tonight's meeting, because we were going to be giving them an update for further information. So.
Well, and I know the swim team, we have some people in the audience that have their children involved in programs, and the travel and stuff has been going on. And so now they know they'll have to go for another year.
So, some of that is to flex though. I mean, 9 months for consulting, RFP and design, that's only based on what we're assuming, correct?
Correct.
We could have someone coming in here saying, no, I can do it a lot faster.
That's correct.
Okay.
Wow, let's bring them in.
Huh?
Let's bring them in.
Well, don't get me started.
Yeah, I know. But we'll never give up. I mean, opportunities are there, as we know.
We're in a lot better position.
Yes.
A year ago, we didn't have the money.
That's right.
And now we do. It's just, we just have to be a little bit more patient and continue to be, but at least now we know the funding is there, and we're actually going to get it done.
Exactly. Yeah,
I have
that's
a question.
a lot of our projects. What? Pete?
Yes, Mike, all the projects that are being discussed, is that using up all the money, or is there any money for any other suggestions that people might have?
That's all of it.
We feel like we're going to have the funds fully committed when we have these projects put out to bid, but we ultimately won't know until we bid them. But the way these grant agreements are typically structured is that they're committed to this specific project, and we can't necessarily expand the scope of work to another site or anything beyond what was originally proposed.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you very much.
Any other comments? Well, it's pretty exciting. There's lots of things. I mean, coming out of the COVID time and just everything that we're up against looks really positive. So thank you to staff. I know it's a lot of push. It's a lot of push, but you know what? We'll have good results in the end. So that's good. All right. Any other things?
One more
Just
thing.
one
Yes,
more
sir.
item.
I think I have something to cover with North Shafter.
Yes.
This presentation, and this is a one-slide presentation, is being provided in response to requests from the public regarding the status of street improvements for North Park and North Shafter. As you may recall, a few years ago, the city extended city sewer service to these communities. And so naturally, the next focus became when can we expect street improvements, ranging from wider streets, drainage systems, walkways, and lighting. More recently, the city completed a topography study. The point of this topography study was to capture the locations of and elevations of structures to help us assist staff with the design of these improvements. And as the city manager pointed out previously, there's obstacles and inconsistencies that make construction of a typical city residential street impossible, or at least extremely expensive and time consuming. So, to provide some perspective, Public Works has, generated this map kind of outlining what the footprint of a typical residential street looks like with respect to the existing a couple of different streets in that area. Existing structures that we're contending with include fences, utility poles, and even houses. And even the minimal city standard street requires, in this case, would require easements, demolition, and relocation costs that are kind of hard to quantify at this point as far as costs go, but it would definitely be in the millions. So it's, at least for now, it's worth noting that, Public Works recently completed lighting improvements in these communities, specifically adding mast arms to existing utility poles. So there's illumination in the streets where it didn't currently exist. Our current focus right now is completing a master drainage study using the completed topography study, and possibly developing alternative street standards to minimize the need for additional easements and possible demolition work. At a minimum, we should conduct public outreach with the residents there to prioritize the improvements, because perhaps we could focus on 2 or 3 things rather than the 4 or 5 things that have been discussed. Specifically, should we focus on drainage, sidewalks? Parking is going to be a challenge. We haven't even talked about parking. And perhaps we could get by without having city standard street lighting poles, but that's where we're at. The green lines there depict the outer lines depict the right of way. The interior line depicts where the curb and gutter would typically go. So we're just here to share this to kind of give you a graphical depiction of how things are shaping up and what challenges we face.
Right.
For 10 of these homes, the street would actually be in the living room. So, I mean, this is really good to have out there for everyone to see it, because I know you're right. There's been a lot of conversation about why we're not doing something out there, but you're more or less asking at least 10 homeowners, but 50% of the homeowners here, that we need to either go into their driveway, go into their home, go into their yard, and take that from them. And that's not talking about elevation issues either. I mean, some of I've driven through here. Some of the crowns are going to be above doorsteps. You get one nice rain, and if it's just not right, they're flooding their house.
Correct.
So very well put. Thank you.
That's good, man. Well, and the county never did anything for them. I mean, it got started, it got built, and it's just the way it is. And we acquired it only because we helped them out, and that's not wrong. It's not bad, but yeah, it'll just take some more time, but at least it's coming forward. Appreciate it. Any other comments? No. Okay. We need to have a motion to recess, and then we'll go into closed session for public employee performance evaluation and conference with labor negotiators.
Make a motion to recess. I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to recess, and it is 7:14. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
No? All right, we're in. Can you hear me? Pete, are you there?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, good. We're back in session and I'm going to call upon our city attorney to give us a wrap up from our closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. Earlier tonight, the city council recessed into closed session. All members were present for the closed session. There were two items of discussion: public employee performance evaluation related to the city manager and also conference with labor negotiator concerning the unrepresented employee title of city manager. With respect to those two items, city council provided direction and we have no reportable action.
Okay, if we have no other further business, we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 No? Wow, we are adjourned. 8:50.